Hi everybody, Hassan Shariq, regulated Canadian immigration consultant, back with our weekly weekend live session on Canadian immigration. My prayers and wishes that all of you, along with your families, are doing really well wherever in the world you are. Things seem to be improving in terms of the COVID situation, and which is reflecting into a lot of easing up in terms of Canadian immigration as well. We see that they're coming up with policies wherein they are now relaxing some travel restrictions, some of the streams which were probably previously not open. They are opening up now, and we see that more and more programs are being included in various of the immigration streams, and as I mentioned, travel restrictions as well. A major update that happened wherein recently we saw that IRCC came up with an update that's starting, and I've made a video and I've uploaded that video already. Starting on the 26th of July, those applicants who are from the TR to PR stream, they will be allowed to submit a new open work permit. Great news, absolutely great news, because there's a lot of people who have applied under this pathway, the TR to PR pathway, and they've not been, and they're in a situation where they don't have a work permit extension available, and they can only possibly benefit by this particular stream. So those who have, this is for in Canada applicants, those who recently applied for their TR to PR pathway, there is an eligibility requirement. There's a video that I've already uploaded on YouTube, but if your work permit is expiring within the 4 months from the time that you apply, if you've had legal status in Canada, or if at the time of application you are in a position that you have legal status or you're eligible for a restoration of your status, and you meet the IELTS the language requirements for the PR stream that you applied for, you are eligible to apply for an open work permit, and this open work permit will be valid up until the end of 2022. So ample time for people to have their PR applications finalized. At the same time, some other updates. So we have started seeing more and more outcomes on various PR applications. I personally have seen some applications move further in the processing, so which clearly indicates that now processing is being done on applications which have been there in the processing queue for long. So it will take a bit of time. I won't say that people can expect to see outcome on their PR applications anytime soon, but realistically, we can expect in coming months that the outcomes will be there. CEC applications are actually being processed very quick. Part of the reason that those applications are within Canada, and that's the preference right now for IRCC to process those, and those people become permanent residents and they're in Canada. But even outlined applicants, study permit applications, there are outcomes now, and the processing delays that we were seeing in the past, right now that's not the case. I see a question. I'll take up the questions in a bit, but for certain streams, I would say that it's still early to say that we will be able to see some draws or opening up of those streams in the immediate future. It might not be the case, but some other programs like the provincial nomination programs, they're happening. OINP, the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, they're doing quite a lot of round of invitations. So people who are eligible over there must not stay back. They should look for that. Saskatchewan has been doing its draws all throughout the COVID period, and they're doing it right now. In fact, some days back, I got a query from somebody wherein somebody asked, probably it was the last week in a live session, somebody asked if PNP draws are happening or if there is a pause. Most of the PNPs are operating. Yes, some PNP programs like Alberta, they had put a hold. Even they have announced that previously they were only inviting people from who were in the province of Alberta and not even in other provinces. But now they've announced that they are going to process applicants from everywhere. So they've opened up. Other PNP programs are open. So for those of you, this might actually be a very good time, because I personally feel that in say another 3 to 4 months, we might move back to the normal momentum as it was in terms of the draws and the invitations. So for those of you who are still considering, maybe who are still thinking at getting your profiles ready, this is a great time. Get in the pool, get your IELTS done, and be part of the pool. I have a question. Can we see FSW draw in early days? Now, I don't know what do you mean by early days exactly. This could mean different. But if your question is that, can we expect an FSW draw in coming weeks or coming, not days as such, but coming weeks maybe? Realistically, again, nobody has this specific information, but I personally believe, and within our immigration professional circles, the expectation is that it may only start in a few months. So my own thoughts over this particular thing, the FSWP draw, is that it may only start by the end of this year. So at the earliest, maybe October, November, and more realistically, maybe in the beginning of 2022. But with that, whenever it is, be it November, be it January, be confident, be positive that it is going to resume. It's not possible that they will not resume this stream at all. This will, and we saw that previously as well, that when we initially had the COVID situation back in March, there was a bit of a pause for a while on these draws, but then for like good 2 to 3 months they kept on doing the FSWP draws. And then because of the situation, they realized the most important piece of information with regard to FSWP draws is that they've allowed the COPR holders to travel to Canada and activate their PR status. So that was the biggest hurdle, I would say, because there were so many COPR holders who were outside of Canada and were not allowed in. So first they had to sort of let them in and then process applications for outland applicants. Now that they've allowed that, I know a lot of such COPR holders are doing their landing these days. In next about 2 months, probably a lot of them, all if not all, almost all of those COPR holders who've been waiting since March 2020 would have done their landings. So with that big chunk of immigrants moving in, that's when IRCC will probably move towards processing the applications which are in the processing queue right now, and then maybe issuing the new FSWP invitations, because the FSWP invitations that will come now, be it November, be it January, whenever, it will take 6 to 7 months for somebody. First, you have to submit your documents, and then it is about 4 or 5 months of processing, and then you travel. So the earliest that they would move into the country is about 6 months from their round of invitations, and these numbers are important to Canada because as per policy, they need these skilled immigrants to come in and take the economy further, or even maintain it where it is. So answering you, LCK preschool. I don't expect it in coming months. When I say that, I mean a month or two. It will be great if it happens. I have a lot of clients myself who've been waiting for it. It will be great to have it. But realistically, I believe it will be close to the end of 2021 or beginning of 2022. Next up, we have Ehsan Atiq, and he's asking, hi Shariq, I'm 31, ECMBA and IELTS 9987, which makes me positive. Do you think I have chance for federal or PNP if the last? For federal, I believe it's a little difficult. You're already 31, Ehsan. I don't know when are you going to turn 32. Because I personally feel, as already mentioned in the answer to LCK preschool, that probably the FSWP draws might only start happening in the beginning of 2022. So I don't know what is your birth date and when you hit 32. And whenever we will see the FSWP draws, naturally there's a large pool of applicants already, and there is going to be a bit of a backlog. So the initial couple of draws might actually be at very high scores. My anticipation is 470s. So reaching 462 might actually be after a few back-to-back draws. So in the current situation, I think PNP should be the option for you, and a lot will depend on what knock code you have, because not every PNP is inviting applicants from outline as well. Next up, Bharat. Hello, Shariq bhai. Hi. Hope you are coping well with this pandemic time. Yeah, it's been going well. I've had my vaccinations, both vaccinations done a while ago. Things are actually improving here in the province of Ontario. On the 16th, we moved into the step 3 of opening up. So now there are certain restrictions, but there's no lockdown. There are no restrictions. Outdoor activities have been allowed. Indoor gatherings of up to 100 people are allowed now. You are required to do social distancing, but I think now around 70% of the province's population has at least had one shot of their vaccine, and a lot of us have had the second dose as well. So things are sort of improving, although it's far from over, I must say. So yeah, been doing well. I have a query regarding my ongoing FSWP application. I submitted my file on 2nd December 22 and my biometrics done. You have a second part of a question. So I ordered my GCMS notes and it says my security check has not started yet. So any idea how long does it usually take to get a COF? Also, my passport is expired soon. I applied new one. Okay. Bharat, right now, giving any timelines is not realistic. I personally have applications from December 2022, and when I got the GCMS notes, a lot of them have not even moved to the security check. They've only been only their eligibility has been checked. So it is different across the spectrum. Security check can actually be one process where it takes a lot of time. So not discouraging you, not saying that you might have to wait for a while, but right now, as I already mentioned, that they were keeping a hold on COPR issuances, just to sort of ease up the backlog that there was. But if you are just at the security check, the positive thing is that this is the last piece. All your assessment, eligibility, verification that are probably done. It's only security check. Good news is that you're just at the last stage. This might take a week. This might take a month. This might take more than a month. But all other verification has been done. So I wouldn't get in. I wouldn't really give any timelines at this stage. It can take any time, but I would expect something soon, because this is just the last piece. Hope that answers. And you mentioned that you have applied for a new passport. Do update that through the IRCC web form, so that they might actually process it on your new passport. You have a question. If you have to update your medical and police check again. So again, I don't know the timelines. When was your medical? When was your police check done? If there is a requirement, they will ask you. Medical is valid for a period of 1 year. So up until December 2021, you don't need to do a medical again. PCC is usually there's a validity of 6 months. So again, it depends. If they need it, they'll ask you. You don't know. Excuse me. You don't need to do it preemptively. Let's wait. If they require, they'll ask you. Okay. Hassan Atiq. Hassan has a question. I submitted my profile at 473. After that, because of 2 birthdays, I lost my 6 plus 511 points. Now I'm at 462. Yeah. It has been the case with a lot of people, and I have a feeling, I don't know, that probably you've attended a few of my sessions in the past as well. I don't know. I have a feeling that the name sounds familiar. So probably it was about a year ago that we had a discussion. But yes, that's how it is. With a score of 462 now, I think, and FSWP draws not happening, I think you should be looking at PNP, the possibilities of PNP. Perfect. And then I think we only have these few folks who are asking a lot of questions, which is fine. Although I would want more and more people asking questions, so that I can provide more information. I think we don't have any more questions right now. So I'll just give a few updates. Next week, first of all, for all of those who will be celebrating Eid in coming days, many happy returns for the festive occasion. Enjoy the lovely time with your families. The weekend, next weekend, I am planning to start a new series where I will be inviting some other colleagues of mine who work as immigration practitioners here in Canada, only RCICs. And we will be discussing various topics, various streams of application, and we're looking at doing the spousal sponsorship applications. So for those who are in Canada, it will be a great session. Because we've seen that recently there are more and more rejections being seen on spousal sponsorship applications, and it has started becoming a little tricky application where the genuineness of your relationship has to be proved in a very appropriate manner. So I will be discussing that with a couple of my other colleagues who really specialize in that area, so that more and more people can benefit out of these sessions. I would greatly appreciate. I know there's on my channels, there's most of the applicants are express entry applicants, so that's the kind of question that I tend to get. But I would greatly appreciate if in the comment sections, this particular video, other videos, You can post questions about policies and stuff, and I'll be happy to answer. A lot of times it is generally about individuals, or if there are certain topics, and then I can make videos on that. One important thing, if there are any study permit applicants who are watching this, or who might watch this later on, this is the time when a lot of applicants are applying for their study permits for the fall entry. A very common question that has been coming, because more and more institutions in Canada have started asking people to be vaccinated if they want to stay in the on-campus residence facilities. Institutions are accepting a wider range of COVID vaccines. So if a COVID vaccine is accepted by WHO or Government of Canada, they accept it. But in terms of Government of Canada, if you travel in and you are to be considered as fully vaccinated, it is just the 4 vaccines, which is Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, and the one by Johnson and Johnson. So if you are looking at that, or if you have the option of one of these 4 vaccines, get it done, and then Government of Canada will consider you. But for study permit applications, or people who've been granted a study permit, if you're not in a position to get one of these 4 vaccines in your country of residence, or you're still waiting for the vaccination anyhow, you can travel to Canada. Yes, there is a quarantine policy. You can self-isolate, and then after that, you will be able to get the vaccination done here in Canada. So this is more specifically for study permit holders who are planning to travel in next 2 to 3 months. You are eligible for vaccinations in Canada, so don't worry about that. That in your home country you're not going to be vaccinated. So that's something that I wanted to share for folks. We have a few more questions. If we don't have too many, we can sign out of the session quickly. Jazz has a question. Hi sir, mine 12th from open board schooling in 2000 completed, which got invalid currently. Then mine graduation completed in 2018 in Canada. Will evaluate mine. Now, Jazz, I'm not able to understand your question all that well, but if you have a graduation and if you've got the ECA done for your, I don't know for what stream are you applying, but if you're applying for skilled migration, and if you have an ECA done, and your ECA is already done for your graduation, then they will not look at the previous education, because it was the responsibility of the ECA body to ascertain if you've done high schooling or not. And also for study permit applications, usually they ask you for your last qualification based on which you got admitted into the program. So I don't think that it should be much of an issue, but that this is one thing that a lot of people have to realize. I know a lot of people who are on such sessions are people who are doing their applications themselves. And if you go to these consultants in various parts of the world, you tell them and they give you opinion on your cases without it. For us, we have a specific license. We are license holders here in Canada, and there's a lot of policy around it, regulation around it. So it is sometimes difficult for us to give opinion on just a few lines without knowing the whole context of the case, and that's considered as improper advising, which is not the ethical practice that we do. So based on the information that you mentioned, I don't think it should be a problem. But as I said, I don't have too many details right over here. Mutsu Kumarisan, I'm really sorry, and I usually say this, that if I pronounce somebody's name wrong, please forgive me for that. So you've asked a question. Hi, I'm 45 years old and software professional. I have 2 master's degrees. Will complete my PhD in another 3 months. Please suggest immigration option for me. A lot of people who are beyond 40 right now, skilled migration options are very limited. So with your age 45, you're losing a lot of points for your age. Um, um, yes, if you complete a PhD, you will have the maximum points for your um, for qualification. You might have good bit of points for experience as well. I would try for various PNPs. Federal programs, absolutely no possibility. I would suggest that if you complete a PhD, you might look at some job opportunities. So smaller provinces, the Atlantic provinces, they have their own express entry streams as well. Look over there, make your expression of interest, submit your applications in there, and then see. And if you're able to find a job, that will greatly help your chances. And with the PhD, I think you have a strong profile where you can apply and you can look for jobs. It's not all that easy finding a job in Canada while you're outside. But still, I would suggest that this is probably where you have the most opportunity. The points-based skilled migration streams that are open right now, because of your age, you will meet the eligibility, but your chances of being invited are very, very low. Then we have Jeevan. Hello, Shariq. Hi, hope you're doing well. All well. Hopefully, you and your families are doing well as well. Can you explain how can we get the GCMS note from outside Canada and the cost relating to it? So, Jeevan, for GCMS notes, you have to ask somebody who is in Canada to apply for you. Many of us, immigration consultants and the lawyers based in Canada, we provide that as a service. So if you're interested, itself there's a small cost, about $5, which we have to pay to ask for these notes, and we have to provide a proof of our residency. So be it citizenship or permanent residency, or if somebody is here on a work permit or a study permit, they can request this as well. So either you look for somebody who, like maybe your relative or a friend who is in Canada, and you ask them, and there's an online application that has to be filled, all your details like your application, your UCI number, your application number, your date of birth, all these things, that has to be submitted. And if you are asking somebody else to do this, then there is a form which has to be filled, because uh, the Department of Immigration, Government of Canada, they have to transmit information on your application to a third person. That form has to be filled as well. So it's your choice. If you have a relative, a friend over here, you can ask them. They can do the process. If you want an RCIC like myself, or an immigration lawyer to do that, definitely there's a fee. So if you're interested, you can definitely send an email, and my staff will guide you on that. We charge a fee for it, and we can apply for your notes, and then we can give you an explanation on your notes as well. So these are the two ways. You want to do it on your own, look for a friend or a family member in Canada, ask them, they submit an online application, provide them with all your application details, a form has to be filled, and you'll receive it. You want it to us, just send us an email. We'll let you know the cost and the process, and we'll apply it for you. Next up, I have the question from Bilal Roche, who was a good friend, a good colleague. So good to see you, Bilal, over here, and thank you for always supporting me. Bilal has a question. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. All well, Bilal. Hoping the same for you. What about the candidate have Oxford Brookes degree, 2 year of work experience, and IELTS 6.5? So with Oxford Brookes, you can get an ECA for a bachelor's. If they've also completed ACCA with Oxford Brookes, then they can apply for a diploma of accounting from ACCA. So then they will have the ECA for 2 or more degrees. So Oxford Brookes Bachelor's and the Diploma of Accounting by ACCA, if that's the case. So they will not have the points for masters, but very close to that, because then they have 2 or more degrees ECA. Um, Work experience is fine. Once it hits 3 years, they'll get the maximum points. The issue is with IELTS. With just a 6.5, you will be able to meet eligibility, but Bilal, such an applicant will not be able to get any ITS. Realistically, right now, uh, you have to be within the range of 7 to 8. So 8 in listening and 7 in others. There is the stream in Saskatchewan where people with slightly lower IELTS, like a 7.5 in listening and 6.5 in all others, can work. But that particular stream looks for applicants with work experience of 8 to 10 years. And again, eligibility is met for people with less experience, but realistically, where they've been inviting people is at that. So with this seems to be a good profile, because I'm assuming such a person would be less than 30 years of age, but IELTS is on the lower side. They have to improve their IELTS. Otherwise, they'll be in the pool, and there will be no invitation expected. Perfect. So this seems to be the last question that was there. And if that's the case, I will try and end for a lot of people, those who are watching and those who might watch it later. A lot of people have been asking that if they want to use my services or get in touch with us. So on the screen, you'll see a link. If you go online on my website, which is shariqimmigration.com, you can find the tab. If you have an ongoing application and you just need help with 1 or 2 things, or if you just want a review of a document, you can just book an individual consultation session rather than a full service. Or if you would want your profile to be assessed specifically, you could look at this link, and I'll first assess your profile in detail and then let you know as to what options you have. If we don't have any more questions, which I don't see, so then probably we can sign off. Just to end that, now with how things are moving, it seems that Canadian immigration is now moving towards and opening up. So in next 2 to 3 months, you can expect a lot of decisions on applications which have been pending. You can expect to see more and more streams opening up, and hopefully for applicants who are outside of Canada, next 2 to 3 months, we'll see more and more easing, more and more positive news. So just stay positive within the world of immigration. It's never stable. There's ups and downs. So we've had a tough 6 to 8 months for applicants from outside of Canada, more so. And this has been the high time for applicants within Canada. But as I said, highs and lows. So probably moving forward, applicants from outside of Canada will have more positive news coming their way. If you have any questions, comments, queries after this, feel free to post that in the comment section or send us an email, and we'll be happy to answer for that. So that's all for today. Take very good care of yourself and your families, wherever in the world you are. For a great part of the world who will be enjoying Eid in a few days, happy Eid Mubarak to all of you. That's all. Take care. Allah Hafiz. Bye bye.